Hey, what's going on, DDO players? Axel here. So today we're going to talk about the free code for all the old quests, and then we're going to talk about update 46.2. So first of all, the free quests. So DDO and LOTRO are doing a giveaway. Basically, they're giving away all their adventure packs up to current for both games. So here's the code right here. So it's DDO free quests. You just take that code and you go to the DDO store in game and you put it in the little redeem a coupon section in the store. And I assume I don't play LOTRO, but here's the code for LOTRO as well. It's LOTRO free quests. So if you play LOTRO, there you go. You can get all the adventure packs for DDO, LOTRO, or both games. So that's cool. And if you need more info on that, just look at my last video where I talked about it quite a bit. That was my most recent upload up to this one. So let's go into update 46.2, which came out today. Now, I don't usually do reviews of patch notes unless there's enough stuff to talk about, and especially with, really update notes or patch notes. But with patch notes, definitely I usually don't talk about them on this channel because there's usually not enough to talk about. But there actually are some big changes here in this patch. So I thought there was stuff worth going over. Also, I'm not going to go over every single little note because most of the stuff is bug fixes, tiny little changes, things like that. So if you want to read over all that stuff, you can go to the patch notes. I will link them below in the description if you want to look at all the rest of the stuff. But what I'm going to do is hit the highlights, or what I feel are the highlights. So the first thing to go over is the new Warlock Pack. So they did add more packs to Warlock class to expand it a little bit and give more build options. So the ones they've added here are a pack which seems to be based on water and cold. They've added a pack which is a celestial pack, as you can see here, which is based on basically holy. They've also added a pack called the Abyss, which is based on negative spells and such. So that's cool. So if you like running Warlocks, there's more build options for you. That's cool to see them expand the class. I'm not really sure why they did that now, but nonetheless, it's something cool, I guess, to it's always cool to give more options. I think the Abyss looks particularly interesting because that's really going to synergize with, say, like Wizard Pale Master stuff, because a lot of it's focused on negative undead stuff. So that's interesting to me. The next thing I wanted to talk about was a change they made to Pale Master here. So they made a change to zombie form, where basically it seems they have nerfed it some, because the big change, and here's the current, as you can see on the screen, what they're changing it to, and right here below I'm going to post right here what it was. So they've made changes to the tier 1 and tier 5, so that's Shroud of the Zombie and Ascendant Shroud. So they've made it more backloaded, so they've added more things to the ascendant part of it. So you're not going to get those benefits until later. They've also just reduced certain things. So the big thing here is the 10% damage, more damage. This used to exist in the tier 1 and used to be plus 20%, but they've reduced it to plus 10% more damage. So that's interesting. But yeah, so I assume most people who run zombie aren't going to be too happy about that. I personally don't use zombie form on my Pale Master right now. I'm using Wraith form, so this doesn't affect me, but it's definitely something worth pointing out. And anytime they do kind of a nerf like this, it's always something that the community really pays attention to. So I thought it was worth noting, although it's probably not going to affect you unless you're running, unless you're of course running a specific zombie type build. Okay, the next thing they've done here, and I'm going to flip over to actually the Lamania notes. This was a big change. They revamped random loot. So they've done a lot of stuff with random loot to make it more appealing. So here's just some of the highlights, as you can see in yellow. So here's some things they're adding with the random loot. Common enhancements, rare special prefixes. So 90 new and returning special enhancements are returning, which is really interesting. And they're also increasing the maximum number of enhancements of a random loot to 4. So 4 enhancements can show on certain random loot items, which is pretty cool. Quarter staves, this was particularly interesting because in DDO prior, it's really, I don't really know any casters that have used a quarterstaff as opposed to 2 scepters, because why use hold one item that takes up 2 item slots when you can hold 2 different sticks and get more effects and more, more boost to your character by holding 2 sticks instead of 1. So what they're doing is making them more useful by upping the maximum number of enhancements on a caster quarterstaff to 6 up from 3. So they gave an example here of a potential possible rare quarterstaff drop from random loot, so up to 6 different things. So this example here has potency, combustion, radiance, fire lore, transmutation, focus, and spell pen enhancements. So yeah, so they're really trying to bring quarterstaffs up to the level of 2 caster sticks in terms of viability. So, which is cool. I think it makes sense. I mean, traditionally, lore-wise, a lot of wizards in fantasy lore, carry a quarterstaff. So that's pretty cool. I mean, it makes a lot of sense, and a lot of people, I think, would rather, from a thematic standpoint, on their caster carry a quarterstaff, but there's just been no pragmatic reason to do that. So hopefully that helps some. So that's really cool, and we'll probably see more if this is their notion going forward. We'll probably see more like named caster quarterstaffs that are really good in the future. I bet you that's what we'll see. Okay, so minimum level of loot. This is just something where they've basically made a change that the level of loot you can pull from chests more easily or more reliably matches the level of the character. Augment slots. This is really interesting. So items in random loot now have a small chance to drop with a second augment slot. So that's really interesting. I wasn't actually aware that. I guess it makes sense. I can't remember ever pulling one now. Of course, I usually just instantly ignore or throw away any random loot I get these days. But that's interesting that you can now get 2 augment slots on a random loot item. Material types. So armor and shields can once again drop with alternative material types. So certain material types, so they mentioned here adamantine, flame touched iron, mithril will more often drop, or actually will once again drop. So they weren't dropping before on random loot. So that's pretty neat. So that's about it for the random loot. So the goal here, and they did, I remember years ago they did a pass on random loot, but they're always trying to make it, I guess, more useful. They're not going to make random loot, and they shouldn't make random loot as good as named items. But I mean, a lot of times in DDO, you don't really have a reason to open chests because there's just not going to be anything in there for you except for a little bit of platinum, which platinum is not worth much these days, anyways. Especially if you've been playing for a long time and you have a big stack of it already. Of course, for new players, it's valuable, but for a lot of veteran players, platinum's not that valuable. And with random loot itself, if you're not going to use it, you can either take it and sell it to get a little bit more platinum, which again, platinum is not that useful, and you have to deal with a inventory management problem if you pick up all the loot in every chest. So it's nice that there is hopefully more things to use, but I don't know. I think that maybe for newer players or for like first life characters, things like that, they might benefit a lot from this. But I still feel like I mean, we'll see how it goes when I play, and we'll see how powerful the random loot is, but I still feel like most people are probably going to ignore, the vast majority of random loot, but we'll see what happens. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about, actually the last thing I want to talk about, and here is UI. So this was really cool. One thing I noticed here, they mentioned that UI skinning has returned with an updated set of UI assets available. So I actually went to this website, and if you're not aware, this is a website where in the past you've been able to download and input into the game custom UI skins for your for DDO on your computer. So what that means is all the little boxes, the hotbars, your character sheet would be customized with different text and different designs and things just to make it look cool, or maybe to make it look easier in your eyes. And I used to use them all the time, but years ago it seemed, and someone correct me if there are current UI skins that are up to date, let me know. But years ago, it seemed like people stopped making them, or it stopped being supported. And I have not seen anyone, make current UI skins, and you can't use the old ones because there have been updates and changes to the game, and they won't work now. So I used to use a lot of UI skins in the past, and I would be awesome if we can get some new ones in the future. But this link here isn't actually a link, and I checked it out before I made this video quite a bit, and this is just a link to an updated set of UI assets. So they're hoping people will take these assets, from what I'm understanding, and someone correct me if I'm wrong, they're hoping that people will take these assets and someone will create custom UI skins for players. It's not like there are, when you go to this link, current UI skins for the current update 46.2, and I looked around and I couldn't see any current UI skins for 46.2, but they are offering certain assets here to hopefully get people to create them so other players can use them. So that's cool. I really hope that we get some, because I really am not, I really like some of the custom UI skins I used to use, and I would love to see them return. And if anyone watching this video knows of current up-to-date, ones that work in the current update that are actually available right now, please post and let me know, because I couldn't find any and I'm not aware of any. But yeah, guys, that's going to be it, I think, for this review of these patch notes. Again, this is just the highlights. If you want to see all the little details of all the other things they've changed, go to the link below in the description and you can read through it yourself. But yeah, guys, that is going to be it for this video. Make sure you redeem that coupon code, because it stops, you can't redeem it past the end of August as of right now. I mean, that could change, but as of right now, as of September 1st, 2020, you're not gonna be able to redeem it. So you have plenty of time, and it just takes a second. So if you don't have all the content, just go in there and plug it in anyways. It won't take but 2 seconds. So guys, that's gonna be it for this video. Hope you enjoyed. I will see you next time. Have a good one and take care.